Alright, good morning everyone. How are we all doing today? This is Plant94 doing another Eurotruck Simulator live stream. Hope you're all having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm currently setting up the route that I'll be taking today. We're starting up in Nice, France, and we'll be driving up to Saint-Laurent. And along the way, we are going to be stopping in Marseille. And we're going to be skipping a few of the towns just because they're a bit out of the way. Although it would be nice to stop in Lyon, so I think... How much time would that add? That wouldn't add too much time. I'll stop by Lyon as well. And then over to Clermont-Ferrand. We'll be circling in there temporarily, and then finish off at Saint-Laurent. So that should be a good route. Let's start our drive. It is 1900 hours 46 minutes in the game. Not a fan of nighttime. I'm gonna be honest, I like the day. I like the light. I'm a very light oriented person, but I think we can get used to the ideas of darkness. I may rest at one point. I don't know how much time I actually have to do this. 25 hours and 26 in-game minutes, and I'll be there in 13. So yeah, I can afford a rest if I feel it gets too dark and I'm not comfortable with that darkness. Then I can stop and take a break and let the daylight come. I know that it's much difficult to drive in the dark, especially since the lights are only in front of me, and you don't see the sides of the vehicle that well, unfortunately. So you have to have a bit of night vision in order to actually progress, like properly. If you want to check like blind spots or something, or like look into your mirrors, then I don't know. It's one of those weird things. And I mean, I guess that's in real life too, where you can't really see very much. But yeah, they've rendered Nice. Oh, I did not realize that was a bump. My bad. I don't think anything got damaged. Let me just check. Nope, nothing got damaged. Good. Yeah, they've rendered out Nice actually quite nicely. I've been to Nice. I've been to the real Nice, France, and it's quite lovely. I stayed there overnight, actually for 2 nights, because basically the idea was that I was going to go visit Monaco nearby, but hold on. There we go, just letting my local Discord know that I am in fact streaming. I have no idea if anybody will actually manage to be here for the live chat, but for the replay, and if you're wanting to watch me drive a truck for an hour and a bit, maybe a little bit longer, I will probably be doing a face cam live stream later tonight, probably around 6 or 7 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure as to when I'll actually do that, but I think I will. I think that'll be a nice thing to do. See, I'm now leaving Nice. Goodbye, Nice. It was quite lovely. I wish in this game that they rendered Monaco. Like, I know it's like a microstate and it's only like 2 kilometers long, but like it has such like an iconic view, especially of the Mediterranean. I wish they would have added it to the game. I also wish they would have added like Liechtenstein properly and like San Marino, like the little things, or even like have a thing of the Vatican. That would be really cool, but like micronations are a bit small to drive through. The one I really hope they add is when they add Spain and Portugal, they add Andorra, because it has a nice mountainous terrain and sort of like weaving your way in and out of the Pyrenees, I think would be gorgeous. Because this game has a lot going for it, and it has like really beautiful views, and it's like some of the most iconic views you can think of when you think of Europe. So like you think of the Pyrenees, or like the Swiss Alps, or the French Alps. You're thinking of these like majestic mountains with like gorgeous snow. And I really hope that when they do Spain and Portugal, that they add Andorra in there as well. Like, even if it's just like a small little blip, because like they did Luxembourg, and Luxembourg's pretty small. There's only like one city in Luxembourg, which is like the capital, and then you have like the road. I think there's only like 1 or 2 roads in Luxembourg. It's not that large. So yeah, I'm sincerely hoping that there is some form of, you know, mountainous terrain that they add, because it can be very gorgeous, and it could also be a bit of a driving challenge. Just simply because you want to make sure that, oh dear. Can you hear the game? I feel like I'm not hearing the game enough. Give me a moment. You can hear the music. Just give me a sec, guys. I'm going to fix the audio for a second. Why is that all the way down? Okay. Just have to listen in to see how that actually sounds. Oh, there we go. You can actually hear it. It's a little loud, so I'll turn that down. There. I had my settings too low, I think. Oh, right. Put that back on. Okay, let's see how that sounds. That's another thing I hate about like France and Italy, is that they have so many toll booths. There we go. You can actually hear the gameplay, not just my voice. There you go. I think it sounds pretty balanced. Okay, good. I can, because I actually have a second set of, oh dear. I have a second set of wireless headphones that I use to like make sure the volume levels, because I'm also watching the stream on my phone, because it acts as the comments, and basically I can just check the sound levels myself, because I can't hear it in my own headphone for some reason. I don't, like, I guess it's just my own personal volume is just down. Yep, you can hear it in the video, and that's all that matters, because I don't need to listen to a truck rumbling. I need to make sure that I'm keeping you entertained by driving the lonely roads of, well, it's not that lonely because there are actually cars down here, but like the windy roads of France in this case. We have about 12 in-game hours, about 900 kilometers, and those 900 kilometers go by really quickly. It's not actual kilometers, because that would take forever. I mean, not compared to living in Canada. Living in Canada, it would take days to cross this country, if not weeks. I mean, it takes like a day or two just to cross like Ontario itself, because it's so vast, and you have to like go up and around the Great Lakes. It's not like you could just like go diagonally or just straight across. Like if you're in provinces like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, they have pretty square bottoms, so you could cross it pretty easily, versus like Ontario is like angled in a strange way because of the Great Lakes, and so like you have to go all the way around the Great Lakes, which are quite large. That's why they're called Great Lakes. And it's so fascinating, like driving across the country. Like I don't think I've done it. Like I've not driven across the country. I've always flown, because like I don't have time to spend crossing this country and then back. Like, you know, it's a nice idea to, like, want to travel the country, but then you also have to remember that you have to go back. So, like, if you live in a country like Belgium or France or the UK, like, you could drive across the country in, like, drive back and forth in, like, a day or two. Canada, it would take you, like, several weeks. And I mean, like, I like the appeal, but I don't think I have the time, which is why, like, a lot of us fly, or even, like, even taking the train, like, taking the train to cross the country from, like, Toronto to Vancouver, I think it's, like, 3 days, and I think the ocean line from Toronto to, well, you have to go to Montreal, and then switch over in Montreal to get the Atlantic train, which I think is, like, a day and a half, I think, to Halifax. So all in all, you could take, like, you could probably travel the country by train in about a week if you take into account, like, transfers and speed and stuff. That would be something really cool to see, like, start in Halifax and then just take the train directly to, like, Vancouver. And you'd have, like, stops along the way, so you'd have to go through, like, Montreal, Toronto, like, I can think Sault Ste. Marie, I think, has a train stop, or Thunder Bay. You have to go through, like, Winnipeg. I think Regina has a train station, I think. Or might have been Saskatoon. And then, like, Edmonton and, like, Banff, and you have to go through all that, and then you go through the interior of BC through the, like, the Rocky Mountains, and you eventually head to Vancouver. And a lot of the long distance train cars actually have these glass 360-degree rooms where you could basically see the scenery from, like, almost every angle, which is, like, pretty amazing. Like, I've seen photos, and, like, the views that you can see, especially when you're going through, like, Jasper or, like, the Rocky Mountains, you can see the mountains and the trees, and it's just, like, it's a nature's lover's paradise. Like, it's gorgeous. I would love to see it on the train. I mean, I've seen it in person, because I actually had to make an emergency stop. I can't remember if it was in Banff or, like, outside of Banff, because there was flooding that happened in Calgary, like, many years ago, like, about 5 years ago. And so, like, some of the highways into BC were closed because of the flooding, so we actually had to go around, and we had to stop in Banff. I think it was in Banff. And, like, you see the mountains, like Banff is very famous. If you go to Canada, there's, like, a few places that I would recommend to go, and one of them is definitely Banff, simply because, like, the view of the mountains is, like, nowhere else you've ever seen. And we got to experience that because we had to detour. So we didn't even, like, choose to go there. It's just that was the detour that we took. And basically it was just this, like, really majestic place. Like, I was struck with awe. And I mean, like, I'm not much of a nature lover. I'll be honest, I'm a city boy. But when you see those mountains, you're like, damn, that is something straight out of, like, a piece of art. Like, you're completely fascinated with the idea, and it's just truly amazing what nature can do. So yeah, that would be something that I would probably be interested in doing, granted that if I had my own sleeper car, because I tend to snore a lot, so I don't think sharing a room with anyone would be ideal for anyone. I would prefer my own space, and that's exactly what I did when I was traveling from Madrid to Lisbon in Spain and Portugal, is that I actually bought my own cabin, which I think it came out to about 118 euros with, like, the youth discount, which is, like, I can't do conversion in my head. It's like 130, 140, 150 bucks, might be a bit more. And granted, this was a 10-hour train ride, so, like, you slept for the 8 hours, and, like, they offered, like, you could get, like, a regular seat, or you can get, like, the deluxe room, which basically comes with your own toilet and shower. And it's like, I don't think I'm going to do that because I'm going to be sleeping for most of the train journey. I'm not going to bother showering, so I can do that when I get to the hotel. And so yeah, that was the only time that I've actually slept in a train, and it was actually quite comfortable. I was very surprised because I imagined that, like, the train was going to be all rickety and just, like, it would, well, no, I actually slept quite soundly. And I was amazed because, like, I thought I was expecting to be, like, woken up several times throughout the night, but no, I slept perfectly fine. Now, granted, the hallways are very slim in the train. Like, it was really tight fit sometimes. But I mean, I would probably do it again. To be honest, it was very comfortable. I was quite surprised, especially if you're on your own. It's just something that really amazed me, and I got to do it twice because I'd go back the same way. So I went from Madrid to Lisbon and then Lisbon to Madrid, and it was something that I loved that experience. Traveling on the train through Europe was, I think, is the best way to see Europe, because planes, they take far too long. Or not that they don't take far too long, quite the opposite, they're too quick, and you don't see anything because you're in the sky. You don't get to see the Russian scenery, and if you're in a car, you have to deal with traffic. You have to deal with like either driving yourself and you don't get to enjoy the scenery, or if someone else is driving, then I don't know, I find there's like an additional stress because you have to be like almost a navigator or something, versus like on a train, it's set route. So you sit down in your chair, you enjoy your complimentary beverage if you're in first class, and then you just watch the views. And I mean, when I was in Italy, I got to see vineyards, and I got to see like, you know, old style houses and like these farms and just like these little towns as we went by. You know, in Spain it was a lot of like either dry mountains or like really nice grassy plains. In France you had, you know, the little towns and the vineyards, and it's just like these places were so beautiful. I mean, like I was traveling when I was in Portugal. When I was using the train to Portugal, it was dark, so I didn't see anything. But I imagine like if you took a day train within Portugal, it would be gorgeous. Now the sad thing is, when you do go from Spain to Portugal, there are only night trains. There aren't any day trains, unfortunately, into Portugal, at least from the main route. There might be a secondary route, but like there are only overnight trains from Spain to Portugal. So it was like the most difficult country to get into, because it's either you could fly, drive, or take like this one overnight train, and the rest is just, you're out of luck. And for me that was a bit frustrating, because it's like, oh, I only have this one train ticket that I need to get, and I need to make sure like I get the proper thing, and it was like the biggest nightmare in all that I had to deal with. But I mean, like once I got the tickets, everything was fine. I didn't have to really worry about that so much. And I would recommend for anyone thinking of going to Europe by train to get a rail pass for sure. I use EU Rail, I think it was called, and it's for external individuals like outside of the EU wanting to travel within the EU. And there's also an intra-rail pass that people can get, like if you're from the European Union and you want to travel within the European Union. For people like myself who are Canadian, you know, outsiders, there's plenty of different rail passes, and you get options. You can either do 1 country, 2 countries, 3 or 4, or you could do a global pass, and a global pass basically is just all of the train networks available. So like you can go from like Portugal all the way to like I think Greece on these train networks, and like you can take like different ferries and stuff, and that's like the really expensive pass. That's like if you're planning on staying in Europe for a year and you want to like travel by train all over the place, that would be perfect for you. Although I don't think they have yearly passes, because they restrict the number of days I think that you can use the pass. I don't know about the global passes, but I know for the country passes you can have like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10-day passes, I think. And I actually ended up getting it was on sale, and it was actually a special deal where if I bought a 6-day pass, I would get a 7th day for free. And so I ended up doing that, and so I planned my itinerary around those 7 days. Now it's not 7 consecutive, it doesn't have to be 7 consecutive days. It can be like, I want to use my pass on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's like those full 24-hour periods count as days. And they give an exception to overnight trains, but I didn't bother using my rail pass for my overnight trains because it wouldn't have saved me that much money, and it would count for like extra days. So I'm like, I'm not going to bother doing that. So I got the 3 country pass, which included Spain, France, and Italy. So those were my 3 main countries that I use the rail pass for, because like Vatican City you can walk to in Rome. San Marino doesn't actually have a train line anymore. They used to, but they got bombed in World War II. So basically, they basically only have the bus line that goes to San Marino from Rimini, or you drive. Monaco does have the one train station, but it's considered part of France because it's the only station in the country, so it's like they don't bother. They don't bother with adding that in the rail system. And Andorra doesn't have train lines in its country either. There's like some that come close, but not for my purposes, so I just took a bus from Barcelona. And so yeah, it was Italy, France, and Spain that were my three countries. And then because of the bonus 7th day, I actually used that to go from Paris to London because the Eurostar network from France counts, but the UK doesn't count in the rail system. The exception is the Eurorail because it originates in France. So that counted as one of my special days. So basically, the first day was going from Rome to Bologna to Rimini to basically get to San Marino. Then from Rimini to Bologna to Milan to Nice. That was like my biggest train day. So that was my second day. Third day was supposed to be from Nice to Barcelona, and I would stop at several different places, but unfortunately the rail company striked that day, and so I actually had to book an emergency bus from Montpellier. Like, I managed to get like 3 trains. I switched like twice. It was horrible. And then I went from Montpellier to Barcelona. I got into a bus and I got there by 3 in the morning. I'm like, okay, don't trust the French rail systems because they're gonna strike. So that was my 3rd day. My 4th day was from Barcelona to Madrid. And then I used my overnight train from Madrid to Lisbon, but that didn't count as part of my pass, so I basically only used up that 4th day. I'm trying to count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that would have been the 4th day. 5th day was from Madrid to Barcelona, because that would be me returning from Lisbon. Then day 6, my 6th day was from basically after I left Andorra by bus, I got to Toulouse. And then from Toulouse, I went up to Paris. That was my day 6, which technically was my last day, but then I got the bonus day, which I went from Paris to London. So that was my 7 days. And I can't remember how much I exactly paid for the pass. It was like, I think, $350 Canadian, I think. And that and that's all first class. And then there's also the reservation fees on top of that. So when you buy a rail pass, you have to get the reservations for certain trains, and it was the majority of the trains that I had to get reservations for anyways, just to basically guarantee your seat. And like most reservations that you would buy without the pass, like most train tickets would cost you like 50 euros or 60 euros or 70 or 80 or 90 if you're going first class. But with the pass, they actually reduced the price down to like 10 or 20 or 30 euros each. Which, like, okay, so I'll give you an example. So basically from Rimini to Nice, I would have had to pay like, well, actually no, because it's based on individual trains. So let's go from Rimini to Milan. That would have normally costed me about 90 euros, I think it was, without the pass. And with the pass, I actually got it down to 10 euros. So like, I say it, and like another even better example was the Eurostar train that I took. So without the rail pass, I think it was $200 Canadian for the median class, and then I ended up paying 75 Canadian dollars. So like right there, I saved my money just by buying the pass and by using that extra day. And then first class, it depends on which country, because like some countries give much better benefits than other countries. So like if you're in Italy, first class gives you like a nice genuine leather seat and like newspaper service in the morning, and you get like a snack and maybe a drink. In France, it wasn't worth it. I can tell you that right now, first class was not worth it, because like it basically gave you nothing. The only exception, I guess, the only thing it gave you was like the ability to sit in an individual seat, which I like, because it depends on like if I'm traveling alone in Europe, I don't want to be sitting next to a stranger. I'm sorry. But like, unless if I'm traveling with a friend, then that's fine. But like if I'm sitting next to a stranger, I'm gonna be like, okay, I don't want to like invade their personal space, so I'm like, I'd rather get individually, and thankfully I had individual seats. I think like the whole time I was in Europe, I think there might have been like one exception or something where I had to sit next to someone that was probably in France. But yeah, the French service, you don't even get like a free beverage. You basically just get like a fancy seat, especially if you're going from like Toulouse to Paris. Like I got a really fancy seat with like this nice desk thing, but that was it. Like I didn't get a free drink, I didn't get a snack, I didn't even get like a welcome. I just sat there and enjoyed the thing. And I mean, like, the seat was comfortable enough, don't get me wrong, that was great, but like there was no extra service. And like, I don't know if I'm whining about it, but like if I'm paying an extra fee, I should be getting a little something extra, you know. Spain, I think, was the best because they had free access to their first class lounge, included with the ticket price. So like I actually got to, you know, enjoy the free snacks and the free drinks, and basically you know, I got to enjoy the first class, the real first class experience. And then the idea was that you could like have priority boarding, and then like once you get onto the train, it felt like you were being welcomed. So I got onto my seat, and then they also offer you like newspaper service, and they actually got you a full meal. Like it wasn't just a snack, it was like a legitimate full meal with like a salad, a main entree, some bread, like a hot towel service, dessert, wine, like the whole 9 yards. And I honestly could say that Spain has the best first class system that I've seen out of the 3 countries that I used. Now I don't know what Belgium's or the Netherlands or Germany's train systems are like, or like Austria or Switzerland or whatever. I don't know what their systems are like, so they could have superior train size, or even Portugal for that matter, because I didn't even use any Portugal trains. I don't know what their service is like, but for me, from my limited experience, Spain has the best system. You get the most bang for your buck, and I mean, like, the reservation costs were only like 30 euros at most for like Barcelona to Madrid. And like it was the most comfortable train that I'd ever been on, compared to like trains in Canada where like, I don't know, the seats are comfortable enough, but I need to stop for fuel. Where is the nearest fuel stop? Like compared to like the Canadian systems that basically, you know, they're nice enough, but I don't think that they really compare. Are there no gas stations in? Really? Oh, you're kidding me. And that's another... Now I'm in a bit of a dilemma here, because I need to find a gas station, because I wasn't watching my fuel levels. And there are no gas stations in Lyon, and the closest one's down here. So I'm going to do that. Oh, and it's going to make me go all the way around. Are you kidding me? No, I can't. That really puts, and I'm already en route to Lyon, so I can't like backtrack at this point. What I may have to end up doing is I will call assistance if I actually run out of gas, because I don't know how long I have. How long do I have gas-wise? I have no idea. What does it say? 206 kilometers left. That's about how I may be able to make it if I'm smart. / hurry up. So yeah, like compared to like the Canadian rail systems, I find the ones in Europe, like I said, like Canada does not have high-speed trains. Let's get real. Canada does not have high-speed rails. They are basically just these slow train system. Like I can get from Montreal to Toronto in about 6 or 7 hours. I was able to cross the entirety of Spain in like 2 or 3. So like the fact that I can go back and forth in Spain at the same time that it would take to like cross Southern Ontario or most of Southern Ontario, like that's really sad. I'm sorry, but that's just we need high-speed rail systems in Canada. Basically have like one line from like Montreal to Toronto, because that's the busiest corridor that we have in Canada, because like a lot of people commute for work or for conferences or whatever. So that's what we should have in Canada. And like, I don't see a high-speed rail system from Toronto to Vancouver being a thing, because like it's a much larger distance, because you're covering an entire continent, and like there's no real point, because like people usually take that train to like see Canada, not to get to Vancouver quickly, because you could fly at that point. But Toronto to Montreal, people usually prefer to take the train because it's more comfortable, and like sure, it takes you 7 hours, but like I don't know, for people who aren't in a total rush, want to save money, because like flying can be expensive, and I mean train tickets are expensive too, depending on where you're going. But the idea is that you want to enjoy the train trip for most places. But in like Montreal to Toronto, a lot of people are commuting for like work purposes or tourism purposes, and they don't want to like spend 7 hours on a train. So yeah, I think that could benefit from a high-speed rail system. Either that or like Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, but I think that would be even less so. I would rather have the Toronto, Montreal have high speed, and I was spoiled in Europe because there's a lot of high-speed rail systems, especially in like France and Italy and Spain, where you can cross countries in like a couple hours. We don't have that luxury in Canada, and you guys don't even have it in America either, because America is so fast. So you can cross states quickly, but not the entire country. I mean, even in Canada, you can't cross the entire province very quickly. It would take you a long time, depending on where you are, as we don't have, the only small provinces we have are the Atlantic. And even then, it still takes time to like actually cross, because there's no like, there are major highways that go fast enough, but it's not like the super highways that like, it's not the interstate system in America. The only exception I think would be the Trans-Canada Trail. And yeah, basically it's a very unique system I find in Canada, and I wish that we had more European style systems, because I think it's entertaining. They're not entertaining, but it's more enjoyable. I mean, I guess it can be entertaining depending on if you're like a train buff or something. But yeah, I find it's I wish that Canada would invest more. I mean, like, especially since our country, Canada is famous in its history for having the rail, for having the railroad, because that's what connected Canada in the first place. You know, we created an east to west rail system that literally united the continent, or at least the upper part of the continent, together. You know, British Columbia to Ontario, or to Upper Canada at the time. And how close am I to? Okay, I'm close. I should be okay for gas. I still have like 100 kilometers to go. I should be fine. And basically it's this, we have this rich history, and yet we're not investing in our rail systems. Why? Because it's not, at least the government thinks it's not a priority, you know, compared to like roads or something. But like, people like taking the train. It's enjoyable. You don't have to drive. You don't have to focus on the road. You just enjoy yourself. And it's not like a flight where you have to like wear a seatbelt and engage in like a bunch of like safety protocols. You're basically just you know, making sure that things are safe and that you're you know, enjoying yourself. And I find that there's just a lack of investment in the rail system, which could have a lot of potential, but we don't invest in that, sadly. I've seen, and I mean, like, there's even more efficient systems in, like, you go to Japan, and those bullet trains will zip you right through. Like, they go like 300 kilometers an hour or something like that. It's super fast. In Canada, I think the highest speed that we would go would like maybe 150 at most, is what I think is what I've gathered. So yeah, I don't know, I'm disappointed by Canada's rail system. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but I wish that they had the high speed option, at least from Toronto to Montreal. That way you could basically just like get to, if you're like on business or something, you're not spending a bunch of time you know, getting there. You need to get there very quickly, so you basically want to go as fast as you can. But no, I really enjoyed my time in Europe, and I would definitely do it again, although I would want to see different places within Europe. Yeah, I would. I mean, if I were to do the trip again, and if I had to do 9 countries again, I would do the Benelux. So that's Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. That's 3. Germany would be 4. Switzerland would be 5. Austria 6. Liechtenstein 7. What else would I do? I would probably do maybe Poland. Would be 8. And then the 9th country, maybe Czech Republic. Yeah, I think if I were to do that again, those would probably be the 9 main countries. And I mean, like, there's plenty of places I want to go see too. Like, I want to go see Scotland. I want to go see Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, Isle of Man, Gibraltar, Malta, Greece, Cyprus. I would probably even venture into Turkey. I think that would be pretty reasonable to join. I would want to go see Morocco a bit too, especially with like the ferry system being right there. You know, where else would I want to go? There's like different places, and just making sure that like you see not just like, you know, the stereotypical Western Europe. So you're gonna go see a bit of these, so like maybe former Yugoslav countries, or like, I don't know, Russia would be pretty exotic, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to go to Russia. But yeah, definitely the 9 countries that are like sort of grouped together, and I would just like go from like rail system to rail system and just like hop off and on trains and stuff, and just and the only thing I would have to like really worry about is basically making sure I give myself enough time, because like I did my 9 country tour in 3 weeks and I felt rushed at times. It's like, oh, you have to meet this deadline, you have to meet this schedule, and it's like, okay, go, and like I felt exhausted even during the trip, but like by the end of the trip I'm just like, oh my goodness, I want to go home, just rest. But I still wanted to be there. Like, I only spent like 2 days in Paris, and I only spent like 1 full day in Paris, 1 full day in London. Like, that's not enough a lot of the time, but like at least I got to see like bits and pieces, so like I know what to go to. Like when I went to Paris and I saw like the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Louvre, and the Arc de Triomphe, those are checked off my list. I really don't need to go back to Paris unless if I want to go into the Louvre itself, because I only got to see the outside of the Louvre. But like, I got bored with Paris. I'll be honest. Can I drive? No, I cannot drive through that. Ooh, zipping right by. Yeah, there was times where I felt that like I've done Paris. I'm good. But I don't know. I would definitely want to go back to London, because I definitely didn't see enough of London. Spain, I mean, I don't know. I was rushed through Spain, to be honest. Like, I didn't see very much of Spain. It was basically just a traveling country, but I think I'd like to go see Barcelona a bit deeper, I think. Lisbon was nice. I don't think I'd go back. Only because I went for the Eurovision Song Contest. It was held in Lisbon, so that was literally the only reason why I went to Portugal. Otherwise, I would have instead chosen to go to Gibraltar and go see that rather than go to Lisbon, because I would have skipped it entirely. And I'm sort of glad I went to Portugal, because it is a very beautiful country, and like Lisbon was very nice. But I felt that I'd seen, like, there wasn't I don't want to say Portugal's boring, because it's not. It has like really gorgeous places, but like in terms of like monuments and stuff, there's not. And I don't know a lot about Portugal, so maybe that's partially why that I don't find it as intriguing as some other people might, because I don't know very much about Portuguese history or like Portuguese culture. I mean, I tried grasping a little bit of the language, even to say hello and thank you. I could not. I tried. I will admit, I do not know Portuguese. I will not attempt to know Portuguese, because I can't handle that. But I thought it was very beautiful. I got to see the public squares and stuff, and like I got to go to the Eurovision Village, and I got to see Altus Arena, and I thought it was really gorgeous. But I don't think I'd be itching to go back to Portugal. I think it's I've checked it, it's a bonus check, but like I'm not compelled to go back. Now, that's not necessarily for everyone. Like, some people love Portugal. that's great. I think that they should definitely go see Portugal. I mean, if you haven't gone to see Portugal, go see it. Honestly, it is nice to go visit at least once in your life, if not more times. And I feel that, you know, some people might get more out of it than I did. Yeah, if Eurovision wasn't being held in Lisbon that year, I wouldn't have gone to Portugal, or at least I wouldn't have gone out of my way to get to Portugal. I would have skipped it, honestly. But I'm glad I went to Portugal, and I'm glad that Salvador Sobral won the contest, even though his attitude's terrible. His song was nice. So, thank you, Salvador Sobral, for bringing the Eurovision to Portugal and letting me see it. Yeah, and I mean, like, this year, this upcoming Eurovision in May 2019 is being held in Israel. I won't be going. Because, I mean, I've seen it once. I mean, I would love to go every year. If I was living in Europe, I would go every year, but I can't because I'm in Canada. It's a bit expensive to go year after year. And I mean, like, with Israel having the whole religious tensions and all that stuff, I don't think I'd be comfortable going alone. Like, I would go in a group. And, like, if we were doing, like, holy tours or something, I'd be okay with doing that if I, like, knew people in the group. But I wouldn't go, I don't think, on my own. I think that's a bit out of my reach. But yeah, I hope that the contest as well, because I mean, like, last year's contest, or I guess like the previous contest in Lisbon, I enjoyed it. I ended up going to the grand jury final, which is basically just like the dress rehearsal where the juries vote. So it's basically the same as a live show, but it's like fake voting, and like you get to see all 26 acts live, and I thought that was it was the most fantastic experience I've ever experienced, because like seeing it live, it's a totally different perspective. And I mean, like, for those who don't know what Eurovision is, who are listening to this after I'm finished recording, Eurovision Song Contest, imagine if like the Olympics and American Idol were fused. So basically there are in 2018 there are 43 nations competing, and each country sends a representative singer, and the idea is basically to showcase the country's talent through song or through whatever. So you can send up to 6 people. You can have like staging, and it has to be original songs. So it's all original music, so it's not like, you know, stuff that was written 5 or 10 years ago. It's all original music. So you have 43 original songs, and they have all sorts of different genres. So like you'll have country, you'll have rock and roll, you'll have opera, you'll have dance, Euro pop, ballads, jazz, like anything goes. And it doesn't have to be necessarily, and like the contest language is in English and French, and a lot of artists do choose to sing in English, but you'll have exceptions. So like this year, Estonia's entry was sung in Italian. Albania was in Albanian, I think. There's like a little bit of Hebrew. You can have like languages from outside of Europe if you wanted to. You could technically sing a song in Chinese if you wanted to, but I don't think it's been done. There's even people that have done sign language songs, where they basically sing in English and then sign along to it as they sing. And there's even some singers that have made up their own languages, and that's perfectly okay, because there's no language rule anymore. There used to be, but there isn't anymore. And I mean, like, Eurovision is very iconic in Europe, and they've brought out some really good acts. So like a few that come to mind are like ABBA. If you know who ABBA is, they got their start to fame because of Eurovision. They won in 1974 with Waterloo, and like that's how they got famous. Celine Dion out of Canada, she got her fame started because she won in 1988, I think it was. And she won with a French song representing Switzerland, but that's how she got famous, because she did Eurovision when she was 20, so like she was young, brand new, and like that's how she got famous. Another one for UK fans would be like Bucks Fizz or Brotherhood of Man. Those are really famous in the UK. Cliff Richard was a big one. Katrina and the Waves, the one that does I'm Walking on Sunshine, that band got famous through Eurovision as well, through another song. And I mean, like, there's a bunch of other artists that you probably wouldn't know, but those are like the big famous ones that like everybody knows. There's also the Epic Sax Guy meme that came out of Eurovision as well. They came from Moldova in 2010, and then they came back in 2017. They're called Sunstroke Project, so they're pretty famous on the internet world. So yeah, you have these really interesting acts, and I mean, like, there are countries across Europe that have competed in this, and there's even like Australia and Israel that compete today. Morocco competed in like 1980 only once. But yeah, the majority of Europe, the only exceptions are like the microstates. So like you won't see Luxembourg, you won't see Andorra or Monaco, but you will see San Marino and Malta. Those are two microstates that have actually joined in. Vatican doesn't go in for obvious reasons. Liechtenstein actually doesn't have EBU status yet. I think they're working towards that. And then you have countries as far as like Russia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia that are part of it. And actually in the junior version of the contest, there's a children's version as well. Kazakhstan debuted this year and they got 6th place, which was fantastic. I was hoping for 1st place, but they ended up getting 6th and they got 3rd with the televote. So I was very pleased with that result. And I hope that they can get to the adult Eurovision, because like if they could debut with a 6th place win, 3rd with the televote, like they got potential, especially in the adult version. So yeah, I really hope that progresses well for Kazakhstan. And I mean, like, they also had Wales in the junior Eurovision, but like they have the full UK in the adult, so I don't think they'll start separating the UK yet, unless if like Scotland leaves. Then they may break it up, but I hope they don't, because I like the UK as like as a full entity. And like, I mean, Wales debuted in junior Eurovision and they did very poorly, and she deserved way better. Like the Welsh entry got last place with no jury points and like 29 televote points, I think, or 30 televote points or something. She deserved way more. That was not a last place finish. I would have rather have seen I don't know, like Serbia or Portugal or Armenia. Maybe not Armenia in last place, but like, and I mean, like, granted, these are kids. I don't want anyone to be in last place because these are all kids and they're all very talented, but like, there are some songs that I genuinely didn't enjoy, and that was in addition to the staging and other effects, which I didn't enjoy. Just simply because it was not, I felt like they should have done more with the staging. That's not the kids' fault. Like, the kid, I'm not rating the kids based on their singing abilities, because they all got like amazing scores in my books. Like, they all sung beautifully, but just sometimes the stage felt really huge and empty, and so like I felt like a lot of them, in my opinion, lost my personal points. I ended up ranking France second, and then they ended up getting 2nd place, so I was very pleased with that result. I like, the winner was Poland. I wasn't expecting Poland to win, to be honest. I knew there was something interesting there, but I didn't realize how interesting it was. And I felt that, I mean, Poland deserves to win. Don't get me wrong, Poland deserves to win. It just is not my winner. I felt like I could have chosen a different winner based on that. I mean, especially even the adult Eurovision, did I think that Israel deserved to win? Yes, I thought that they were going to win because of the sensationalism and because of how crazy their song was. But did Cyprus deserve to win as well? Yes. Why? Because she's an incredible dancer. The song was amazing, and I would have loved to have Nicosia or somewhere in Cyprus host Eurovision, and they deserve to win because they haven't won yet. And like, this is Cyprus's best placing ever with 2nd place. I would have been okay with Cyprus winning. In fact, I think I put Cyprus in my top 5 or something. And I mean, I was also expecting, I always expect Australia to do well, and I mean, like, for the past 2 years they haven't. And so I'm really concerned that next year Australia is not going to make it to the grand final, and it's going to be like questioning whether Australia should legitimately be in Eurovision, because there are some people that feel like Australia should not be in Eurovision because they're not in Europe. But it's like, they have talent, they have European roots. Like, literally, Australia is a former British colony And I think that, like, and that's why I always argue that, like, New Zealand, if they had a large Eurovision following, should be a part of Eurovision, because, like, Australia's been watching since the 80s. You know, they're big enough fans, they have a big enough fan base, they have the money, let them join. You know, Canada, I'd love to see them in Eurovision, but we don't have the fan base. There are not enough people that are interested, and the reason why is because CBC won't broadcast it because the EBUs being a bunch of nonsense. They claim it's like copyright, and it's like, that's nonsense. Let the CBC, not the BBC, the CBC, let the CBC broadcast it. You know, the reason why you don't have a Canadian fan base is because Canadians don't know it exists, and why is that? Because we're not showing the shows. You know, if you want a bigger fan base, let us broadcast the shows. Let us actually learn about this, because I think Canadians would be interested in having a Eurovision experience. Or even, you know, people were talking at one point about an American Eurovision where they would just be America. It's like, well, no, Canada's here too. You know, make it about the 50 states, fine, but, like, add the provinces and territories of Canada, because we'd like to join in. You know, maybe the Caribbean would like to join in, Mexico, and, like, Central America, and then you can expand it to South America, but, like, I don't know how viable that would be. I mean, I think it would be pretty viable, because we have pretty good relations with one another in North America, especially with, like, the USMCA. It's not NAFTA anymore. I can't say USMCA in an acronym. Like, I can't say NAFTA because it's NAFTA, but I can't say, it's like USMCA. Like, I can't pronounce that. But yeah, like, we have fairly good relations. They've tried making Eurovision Asia, but that's not working because, like, the countries aren't getting along because they haven't had that experience in Europe, where the countries have the European Union and that's sort of like the core foundation, then other countries latch on. In Canada, we have NAFTA, or USMCA, and we have good relations with the Caribbean, so I think that could work. It doesn't work in Asia because there's no rooting, unifying force behind that. So, like, we have NATO in North America and Europe. That could work. But in Asia, there's nothing like that, really. I mean, you have, what is it called? It's like the anti... NATO or something, where it's like China, India, Russia, South Africa, and Brazil. It's like the anti G7 or something. I don't know what they call it. But that's just basically, in my opinion, that's like a protest of the G7 or the G8 or whatever it is now. But yeah, I feel like there needs to be a unifying force. I mean, like, even during the Cold War, there was Intervision, which is basically the communist countries coming together. Why am I lagging? Okay. A moment to let, maybe the game needs to breathe for a moment. I'm gonna let it breathe for a moment. But yeah, like, in Europe, there was the Intervision network, which basically consisted of, like, the eastern countries, and I mean, like, that went on for a few years, but then they canceled, and then the Cold War ended. The USSR broke up, so you didn't really have that, you know, that didn't last long. And then they were also broadcasting Eurovision into the eastern states anyways, in some places. So, like, the East got wind of Eurovision slowly, and they wanted to become a part of it. And at one point, USSR wanted to be part of Eurovision, but then it collapsed. It's like, too little too late. Now, why? I just drove up back on myself. Why did I do that? Did I make a wrong... I think I made a wrong turn. Oh, you're kidding me. I made a wrong turn. See, I'm not even paying attention to my driving. I'm just chatting away, and I didn't even pay attention. I'm back in Lyon. Even though, like, I was already in Clermont-Ferrand, and I literally missed a turn. Like, I was supposed to turn, like down this road here, and then loop around and go that way, but I literally missed the turn, so I just went back on myself. So I still got another 6 hours. How long do I have to my next job? See, I've got 13 hours, so I'm okay. I just won't be able to take a break, but I mean, it's already in the morning anyway, so I don't have to worry about stopping, because I've turned fatigue off, because, like, I simulate the fatigue in my own mind. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slightly illegal move and just pull a U-turn, because I'm not going all the way around. Turn. So, so yeah, I feel that there's a possibility to have a North American Eurovision, because like, we have that basis of NATO, NAFTA, whatever you want to call it. But in Asia, it doesn't work. It's, the countries are, you know, and there's like China, South Korea, like, I don't even know, like other Pacific nations, Australia, New Zealand, but like they don't have that common ground. Like Australia, New Zealand maybe, but that's not much of a Eurovision because you only have 2 countries. And so what do you do? So yeah, it's an ambitious project. I would have loved to have seen Eurovision Asia, but it's not going to happen. Unless if Asia goes through like something like they did in Europe, it's not going to happen. You know, I wish them all the best of luck in what's going on, but it's not going to work. I wish it would. But yeah, I love Eurovision. It's the greatest ideal, or one of the greatest ideals that humanity has to offer, because all the countries start to support each other. Like, it's a friendly competition, and there are fans that are like diehard fans that are like, we need Germany to win, or we need like Switzerland to win, or whatever. But the artists are all friendly towards one another. Like, you watch the green room and you watch the stars interact with one another. Like, it's amazing how like friendships develop. Like, there was, I think, a friendship between like Lithuania and the Czech Republic, and you know, these 2 people, you know, hung out and did videos together, and they did this whole like friendship thing. And like, I don't know if Eurovision friendships last after the fact. Like, they might, and there are some countries that don't develop those friendships as much as others. So like, I know that San Marino didn't get a lot of the friendships that I could see. I mean, like, San Marino's entry was already divisive to begin with, because it was like a Maltese singer and a German singer, and they didn't get along creatively, and so like the friendship was forced. And so that I hated to see, because I love San Marino, not only as a country, but as the Eurovision acts are either really hilarious, and so they're like guilty pleasures, or like they have like nice songs. So like, they sent Valentina Monetta 4 times. The first song was just a complete joke. The second one was like really deep and emotional and deserved to be in the final. The third one was decent enough, got into the final, but deserved more points. And her 4th attempt was another sort of jokey song, which I don't think deserved last place. I think there were worse songs that year. But yeah, I hope that San Marino tries to send a better act this year. There's no guarantee, but one can hope. Yeah, I'm curious as to what they'll send this year, because like, it's too early to tell for a lot of countries, because they are only just starting the process. But I don't know. It's it'll be an interesting experience to see what they do with that sort of thing. And I mean, like, I mean, like, most of the songs are good. There are some songs that I can't stand. I'm just like, nope, not listening to this nonsense. Nope. I'm trying to think, was there any I don't think there was any in 2018, because that particular year was really strong. Like, I'm running through the list of countries that the only one that I didn't, and there weren't any that I didn't stand, but the one that I didn't like was Armenia, because I always forget that one. It's a completely forgettable song, honestly. Russia's was bad from the start, and it's not necessarily, I mean, like, the choice of singer wasn't that great anyway, but I mean, she deserved to go there anyway. But, you know, the staging was weird. Her voice was just, I'm sorry, she was terrible live, and I don't know if she was sick, if she was nervous, if, you know, there was something, because she has a medical disability. I don't know what it's called, but she's basically in a wheelchair, and has a lisp of some kind, and she sings beautiful in Russian, but she decides to sing in English, and I don't know why. You know, sing in Russian. If you can sing in Russian, sing in Russian. I don't care what language you sing in. I care about the music. And I mean, she definitely deserves a better placement, especially what she had to go through to get to Eurovision, like, in 2018. So yeah, I was disappointed in Russia, and this is the first time they didn't qualify, because Russia always sends like really good songs. But yeah, just this year it didn't work out. So yeah, I'm hopeful that 2019 is going to be just as good as 2018. There were some moments in 2017 that I wasn't a fan of. I was disappointed with Grease a bit in 2017. What else was I disappointed with? I wasn't a fan of the winning song. I tried to get the emotional aspect of it. I didn't. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't know Portuguese, or maybe because I don't like the singer himself. Now granted, he has like medical conditions. He had like a heart transplant recently, so like, you know, bless his heart. But he can be very rude sometimes, and I'm not a fan of singers like that. Like, I get you don't want to like sell out and you want to make sure that you're authentic and stuff, but like there's a point, you know. In 2018 he was saying like, oh, he hopes that the Israeli entry doesn't win because that song is nothing but pop garbage. I'm like, excuse me, that is not pop garbage. Granted, it has some like pop-ish elements, but the message behind the song is authentic, you know. And you don't go trashing other people's songs. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are, but you got to respect the fact that an artist worked hard to get to the Eurovision stage. So like, no, you can have an opinion, you don't like the song, that's fine, but don't go like being rude about it and trashy, because like that's not cool, you know. I don't care who you are, like it's not something that I'm a fan of. And I genuinely wish that, you know, and I felt so bad for her, because like I saw him give her the award, and like basically it was just like a hug, gave her the award, hug, and then walked away. Normally the winning artist stands with the winner. So like in 2017 when Salvador Sobral won, Jamala from Ukraine stood with him and actually like, you know, stood alongside him for a while. In this year he basically just walked right off, and it's like he basically gave her a fake smile. I need to turn off here. Don't repeat the mistake of last time. He basically gave her a fake smile and then moved on, and I'm like, what is that? Like, come on, be respectful. You know, you can have your opinion, that's fine, but don't do that. Like, come on, be a bigger man than that. Like, I don't know. I'm hoping that, and I mean, like, Netta has a very good personality. Like, the Israeli winner has a very good personality. So I think she'll do well in the idea of presenting the award to whoever wins next year. Unless, of course, she defends her title, which I don't think she will. I think that's only, I don't remember how many times it's happened, but it's happened, the most recent time was 2011 when the German winner defended her title, like by competing herself. Imagine if she actually won that year and she would have had to present the trophy to herself. It's like, oh, I win again, hooray. But no, that didn't happen, thankfully. And I mean, her song was good, but that would have been super awkward. But yeah, I don't think she'll defend her own title, so whoever she gives the award to, I think she'll be very genuinely happy. Like, it doesn't matter what genre or what song they choose to win. You know, it could be another Salvador Sobral. If someone does a song similar to him with a similar message, I think she'll still be happy, and like genuinely happy, even though the message might not be. I mean, like, I agree with Salvador's message of not giving into fast food music, because like I agree, if you listen to the radio and you listen to like the top 50 Billboard charts, it's gonna be nothing but garbage. It's gonna be talking about like, you know, rappers talking about like, you know, sex, booze, or drugs or whatever, and that's fast food music. I agree with that. That should not be the norm, because there's no thought process given to it. It's basically just spitting out one song after another and they all sound the same. But like when you talk about something that has unique sounds, you know, that's not fast food music. That might be like upper class sort of fast food, but not really. It's has its own unique flavor that has a place in Eurovision. And I mean, like, you can even put in the fast food music and I don't care who wins. Honestly, I'm not bound by specific countries. It's not like, oh, I must have Sweden win or I must have the UK win. It's no, I'm open to any country, and that's the benefit of being a Canadian in this sort of sphere, is that I can choose whatever country I want to support, and I have no loyalties. I mean, the only thing you could possibly argue is maybe the UK, because we're a Commonwealth country, but even then, that's a long stretch. So yeah, I don't have a loyalty to a country. It's not like I'm Polish and I have to support Poland. It's no, I can support whatever country I want. And that's the benefit of being an outsider. It's like, hey, I can support literally any country I want to, and I don't have to be held back by like a need to support my own country, because my country is not competing in Eurovision and probably never will. I think the only exception I could think of is like if a Canadian artist represents a different country, and that's happened even in the recent history of Eurovision. There have been Canadian artists or people from Canada that support that represent other countries. So like that's maybe the only exception, but even then I don't look at that. I just basically say what's the best song that I enjoy, and I want to support that country. And I can support multiple countries too. Like I can support like San Marino and France, for example, because like San Marino, yeah, I think it's a great song. I don't think it's gonna win, but I can still love the song. And like France, may have a genuine chance to win. Those are just some examples. But that's sort of the benefit of being an outsider in the Eurovision sphere, is that you get that freedom to support who you want. And I think the core message of Eurovision of bringing people together and becoming a force for good, I think needs to be echoed more, because like we only have the Olympics every like 2 years, and that brings countries together. But like Eurovision's a yearly event, and it's not even a yearly event. It's like it's basically a lifestyle, because Eurovision's constantly happening, because you have people releasing new songs, and like concerts are happening throughout Europe. Then you have the Junior Eurovision, then you have like Eurovision Young Musicians or Young Dancers or Choir of the Year, or there's a bunch of other Eurovision type contests that are happening now, especially in recent years. It's becoming a life, not just a once-a-year television show. It's a genuine year-long event, because like you can enter songs from like September the 1st of the previous year, so like from September 1st to like I think April of the next year. So like September 2018 to like April 2019 is like the submission times for songs or whatever it is. I don't know what the actual end date is. But you have that long period where songs are going to be released over the next few months, especially in like January, February, March. Those are the big release times for Eurovision artists, and it's going to be really interesting to see what countries come up with, because they learn year after year after year. So saying, okay, this type of music works, let's expand on that, or this song did not work, we need to scrap that idea and move to something else. So like the Czech Republic, for example, in 2018, they got to the grand final in 2016, but they ended up getting like next to last or something. And then this year they ended up getting like, I think it was 6th place or 9th place, like something high, like pretty high, like I think it was top 10, or at least top 15. And I'm like, this is Czech Republic's greatest result ever. And so they know that type of song works, so they're going to try something similar next year. And I mean, there are some countries that you can predict. So like I can predict the Netherlands pretty well, because for the past, I want to say 5-ish years, they flipped. They flipped back and forth. So like in 2018, 2016, and 2014, they had country style songs, and in 2013, 15, and 17, they didn't. So I can predict that they won't have a country song this coming year. Now I can be still wrong, and they could still have country songs, and just they can keep on that if they want to. But the recent pattern is that they do it every other year. They just happen to have a country vibe happening every 2 years. So I can predict that the Netherlands is not going to send a country song this year. I mean, they could, but I don't think they will. I think Russia is going to work harder than ever to send a really good song, to the point where they could win, because of how bad Yulia's performance was in 2018. They got their revenge out of the way, so to speak, and then now they're going to focus on doing something better. Azerbaijan, I'm not sure, because normally they do qualify every year, but they didn't qualify this year as well, and undeservedly so. I thought the song should have went through. I don't know if Azerbaijan's going to send another failing song. They may, because they're going to try something new. I'm afraid that San Marino's just gonna send another joke act because they don't learn. It's year after year after year they don't learn. But I'm hoping that they'll change especially with the new format. They're gonna come up with a new format because San Marino 1 in 360 is not happening this year. It's gonna be something else. So I hope that it'll be something else. I think Germany and Italy are on a good roll, so they're probably going to keep the status quo. The UK hasn't sent a serious act in years, but with the recent attack on the Eurovision stage, I think they will send a more serious act this year to try and do better. But I mean, I could speculate on about Eurovision all day. I could literally speculate about Eurovision all day long, so I'm going to change the subject. I don't know what to talk about. My day's been pretty bland, I guess you could say. I mean, I haven't really done much today other than the stream this morning, although now I'm in the afternoon, so you know, I haven't done very much. You know, I enjoyed attending last night's stream on Nerdito's channel, and one of these days I will link his channel into the description. I need to write myself a reminder note to do that, because I think that would be beneficial to his channel as well as mine. Oh dear, here I am trying to check my emails on my phone and texts. Because I need to check. Okay, cool. You know, the joys of trying to check your phone and driving at the same time. Yeah, no, my day's been pretty straightforward. Hasn't been doing very much, to be honest. I'll probably do another stream later tonight, probably around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6 or 7, I haven't decided yet. I may schedule. I'm gonna see if I can learn how to schedule a live stream, because I think I'll do that. Just to like notice, people might be able to see it in their notification streams throughout the day. I actually might want to test that, because that might be a good idea. If I can schedule and keep to a schedule, I think I will try to do that. Yeah, especially with me being on medical leave, I don't have a lot on my plate, which is kind of a relief, because like every year I keep on going to school, and then I keep on doing like study, test, paper, and I'm just like, I need to break from that. And especially with the pain that I experience, well, it's not necessarily pain anymore, it's just I have reduced mobility and just like the mental health thing, you know, the whole YouTubers need mental breaks and because of all the pressures and stuff. It's like, yeah, I get that, because we get that through school too. It's not just YouTubers, and thankfully this is a super casual thing, because like I don't have to worry about like making revenue or making like building an audience, because I don't have a desire for that. You know, if I can just entertain one person for a few minutes, and then I've made my goal for the day, or I made my goal for even the year. Like honestly, I'm not a YouTuber. I enjoy watching YouTube, but I don't necessarily do this on a regular basis. I mean, even at this point, no one's actually come into the live stream to chat, and I don't know if that's because like my subscribers are not being notified, or because they're busy, because like I know people from across different time zones that are probably working or having lunch or something, but like I don't know. I don't exactly know how the YouTube algorithm works. I don't know if there's like search tags that I forgot to put in this thing. But I mean, you can always watch it afterwards. That's a thing. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can entertain someone in the future. Because I'm clearly not entertaining anybody now. But yeah, there is a nice relief rambling onto the camera. My only concern is that I don't want to bore people with my conversations, especially since it's one-sided and I'm not responding to like you know, if I talk about Eurovision for an hour, you know, that's great, but like you might not be able to like contribute or even understand what I'm saying, and you just get bored, turned off. So that's why I prefer the live stream chats, you know, chatting with other people, because that's much more desirable. Okay, I was gonna do it safe. I don't want to. I do not have any parking skills. Actually, I don't even have. Nope, it's not damaged, so I should get a pretty decent. Straight out. You should have a decent XP boost. Oh, come on. Ooh, yay. There we go. So yeah, I'm hoping that if someone watches this in the future, then they can, you know, enjoy the time that they spent here. Oh, cool. Yeah, 1,300 kilometers. I took 17 game hours. There's probably like an hour. I don't even know how long I've been actually streaming for. I don't know. So I'm just gonna go through my. Okay, no, I'll do that later. I don't care. Okay, cool. Excuse me. I'm going to look at the world map because I just went from Nice to Why? Oh, because my truck's in. That's right, my truck's still in Poland, but I traveled to Nice. At least from Nice to other places. So now I need to get from Saint-Laurent to Nantes. Or at least get back on the road. So I'm going to take another quick job because I'm not driving all the way to Nice. That is not happening. Saint-Laurent to. Oh, wow, you go all the way to Poland. Huh. Or the other one is back to Lyon, which I don't want to do. So let's go Nantes. Nantes to Marseille. Can I do that perhaps? And just hook up somewhere. I mean, if I can go from Marseille to Nice, that would be okay. Let's take the job, sure. Why not? And then I'll just fix my route accordingly to see if I can at least join up to, like, some part of it, because I don't know what the roads will. That's one thing I don't like about that particular map, is that it doesn't show off the roads, which I would hope it did. Let's just quickly go to the map. Yeah, see, it's having me go down. Oh, but see here, it joins up on this road. So that'll be fine, as long as it's joined up. So let's, since we're here, stop by that. Actually, let's there we go. So we stop by Montpellier. Ooh, we're definitely stopping by Toulouse. So I've been to Toulouse. Oop. There we go. There we go. Golfik is a bit out of my way. I'm gonna be honest, so I'm gonna skip that. Oh, I can't miss Bordeaux. I can't miss that. So I'm gonna go to that. Although if I go through, oh, but there's also that section of the. Okay, major detour. That. Okay, cool. Because yeah, I want to discover these places because they're important. Rochelle, I definitely want to stop by, so we'll just pick that. That should be good enough. Oh, you're kidding me. It doesn't connect up to here. Oh, well, I'm going to make it connect up to there. Sorry. I guess I come to here. Yeah, I'm definitely heading up to... I need to connect it up to Nantes. and then go down Rochelle, Bordeaux, Toulouse, Montpellier, and then Marseille. So that's an 18, almost 19-hour trip, and I've got 31 hours. Perfect, so I've got plenty of time. Drive forward with the truck, and I'm probably only going to stream for about 10 more minutes, and then I'll end it, and then I'll pick this up maybe tomorrow. Or actually, it'll depend on how I feel tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm a bit busy with life, but yeah, I'm only gonna stream for 10 more minutes. Honestly, I don't know how long I've been streaming for, but it's long enough. But yeah, I hope if you've made it this far, congratulations. I'm surprised that you haven't been driven to madness at this point. But if you have made it to this point, oh, congratulations. Not so much congratulations for my truck, but I didn't get any damage, that's fine. I'm wondering, I'm just going to quickly go into the settings. Can I go... I want to see the inside of my truck. I want the shower, no. Distance, I guess texture quality. I want it to be higher. Oh. See part of my desktop, my bad. Or maybe not, I don't know. So let's see what that does. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the game. I just want to see if it improves like the truck's interior a bit. I can't tell. You know, I'd love to see the little numbers, but they're just so like, and I guess I have to put this down in the lower settings so that it runs smooth enough, because like this is not a gaming PC at all. But yeah, I love this game. It's very relaxing to just drive and just to like go places. But it's not an exciting game, but it's nice. And yeah, I'm quite pleased. The fact that I got this game on sale, so I was very pleased that I got it. Okay, pick up the pace. Yeah, I'm only gonna stream for like 7 more minutes and I'm gonna head out because I need a break, I need to stretch, I need to eat. All these sorts of things. And yeah, I'll probably come on later tonight, do a face stream, and then I'll be done for the day. Oh dear. Oh dear. That did not just happen. Am I legitimate? I'm legitimately sideways. There is no way I'm recovering from that. Okay. Services. I will be taking to Nantes. Oh dear. I'm sorry I had to see that. Embarrassing. I need to edit that out. No. I will let you see my embarrassment. Like, I don't even know what happened. I just like bumped into something and then it just I flipped to my side. I might as well repair it while I'm here. Because it does not cost me anything. Okay, where did I actually end up? Because I need to... Okay, so I'm actually in Nantes. Oh, I was so close. Oh, you're kidding. I'm so close. Okay, I can just do that. Okay, cool. So enough of that. And okay, I know what to do now. Yeah, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing to say the least. Don't trust me with the truck. Don't trust me with the truck. I will ruin it. Jeez. That was too funny. That's my truck driving skills. I really don't know how to drive a car or a truck. Yeah, I'm gonna circle through these turn circles just to like make it so that it looks like I've... Actually, can I break the law? I'm gonna break the law. It's a very stupid thing. It's a very stupid thing to do, but I can't be bothered. Breaking the law. Really breaking the law. Oh dear, I'm gonna cause a traffic jam. That's okay. I'm just gonna do some... There we go. I'm gonna pretend I'm in London. Something like that. There we go. This is an interesting one. But I'm gonna go back in here because that's... And I'm okay. I'm not gonna break the law this time. I'm gonna go around properly because I don't want to do that again. Keep turning around and around and around we go. So at least it looks like we've actually like done this thing properly. There we go. Back onto the highway. And then do I have to... Yeah, I have to go back to... Okay, that's not too far. I can manage that. I'll manage that, pull to the road, and then end the stream. What is there? Cool. Cool. I hope you've enjoyed me talking, if anyone's watching this in the future. Be sure to like. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe so you can be tuned into my potential future streams. I mean, this fact that I'm doing a second stream already is a miracle, by at least by my standards. Yeah, so yeah, consider subscribing if you're not. You know, I don't post regular content a lot, but I like to be friendly, and I may join chats and stuff in the future. You know, I find chats randomly through YouTube search, so I like to engage. I like to chat, learn about new people, new things. Sort of the cliched ideas of what it means to be a YouTuber. No, I'm not a YouTuber. You cannot define me as a YouTuber. How far do I have? Okay, so I just complete that. Rejoin the road, and then the only one left I'll need to do is Livorno to Naples, and then I think I've covered everything. And then yeah, I should be good from there. So yeah, I can go from Napoli to anywhere really. Bologna, Livorno, Genoa. And I will be good. Okay, so I'm going to find a nice perch somewhere for me to stop. Here's perfect. Thank you so much to everyone that stopped by, even though the chat was empty, but that's okay. Really appreciate anybody that stopped by. Thank you so much for, you know, watching me, listening to me talk. And I hope to see you guys either later tonight or sometime in the future. So have a great night, everyone. Or great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And I hope to see you again soon. Peace.